All right, folks. Good morning, and I hope everybody is having a good week so far, and that everybody has Good Friday today. Um, so yesterday I read Genesis chapter 32, and there's a whole bunch in that chapter that stuck out to me, but especially the last bit of it, because that chapter it discusses Jacob getting ready to meet his brother. Um, and it talks about his strategy, what he thinks about doing, and how he approaches that meeting. And then it talks about him wrestling with God. And this is a really interesting passage because it's one night and he wrestles with God until daybreak, and at which time um, the wrestling match ends. God imparts a wound, a lasting wound, um, as a reminder, I think, of this time so that Jacob never forgets it. And he changes his name to Israel. Now, that's important for a whole bunch of reasons because we see that with Abraham, just as his name was changed from Abram to Abraham, that accompanied the promise and that came with the blessing. And we see that this is God's response to Jacob. When Jacob says, I will not let you go until you bless me, the man asked him, What is your name? Jacob. Then the man said, Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel. And so the blessing is implied here that it's in the new creation. It's in the new identity. And it's into what God makes you into is where the blessing is. And that just makes me think of Revelation 2:17, and I think it's something like, "He who endures to the end, I will give, and is victorious. I will give a new name, and some of the hidden manna. No, I will give to him some of the hidden manna and a white stone with a new name written on it, that only the one who receives it will understand." And so there's something about this, he who endures till the end, and Jacob wrestling through the night and making it to daybreak. And it makes me think, though there be weeping in the night, there's rejoicing in the morning. And so there's this accompaniment with mourning, which is renewal, a new name, and blessing. So I don't want to spend too much time there because today we're going to read Genesis chapter 33. Jacob looked up, and there was Esau coming with his 400 men. So he divided the children among Leah, Rachel, and the 2 female servants. So he put the female servants and their children in front, Leah and her children next, and Rachel and Joseph in the rear. He himself went on ahead and bowed down to the ground 7 times as he approached his brother. But Esau ran to meet Jacob and embraced him. He threw his arms around his neck and kissed him, and they wept. Then Esau looked up and saw the women and children. "Who are these with you?" he asked. Jacob answered, "They are the children God has graciously given your servant." Then the female servants and their children approached and bowed. Next, Leah and her children came and bowed down. Last of all, Joseph and Rachel, and they too bowed down. Esau asked, "What's the meaning of all these flocks and herds I met?" "To find favor in your eyes, my lord," he said. But Esau said, "I already have plenty, my brother. Keep what you have for yourself." "No, please," said Jacob. "If I have found favor in your eyes, accept this gift from me." For to see your face is like seeing the face of God. Now that you have received me favorably, please accept the present that was brought to you, for God has been gracious to me, and I have all that I need." And because Jacob insisted, Esau accepted it. Then Esau said, "Let us be on our way. I'll accompany you." But Jacob said to him, "My lord knows that the children are tender and that I must care for the ewes and cows that are nursing their young. If they are driven hard just one day, all the animals will die. So let my lord go ahead of me while I move along slowly at the pace of the flocks and herds before me and the pace of the children until I come to my lord in Seir." Esau said, "Then let me leave some of my men with you." "But why do that?" Jacob asked. "Just let me find favor in the eyes of my lord." So that day Esau started his way back to Seir. Jacob, however, went to Succoth, where he built a place for himself and made shelters for his livestock. That is why the place is called Succoth. After Jacob came from Paddan Aram, he arrived safely in the city of Shechem in Canaan and camped within sight of the city. For 100 pieces of silver he bought from the sons of Hamor, the father of Shechem, the plot of ground where he pitched his tent. There he set up an altar and called it Elohe Israel. Elohe? Not sure. So, Jacob has decided to flatter Esau in an attempt to gain favor and submit himself after stealing his blessing, though he should be the greater in the relationship. And this begins with him bowing down to the ground 7 times as he approaches his brother. Again, we see this motif of sevens, and there's a completion here of something. And what is it? Well, I would think it would be the animosity between Jacob and Esau, that period has ended, where Esau is out to kill Jacob. Although I can't be sure of that because I don't recall what happens in the next chapters, but that's kind of what I might be thinking. Now, we see in Jacob the same tendency to some extent that we see back with Abraham, to kind of twist the truth here and be deceitful in his dealings with others. So he tells his brother he can't drive his herds too hard or all the animals will die, and that he's going to just take his time to get there, and then he goes somewhere else. And that's obviously probably not what he should be doing. But nonetheless he does. Now, he hasn't taken on this new identity yet of Israel, because he's still being referred to as Jacob. And what's interesting to me is Esau ran to meet Jacob and embraced him. And isn't this so similar to Joseph and his brothers, where his brothers who sell him expect him to be angry with them, and instead Joseph is overcome with emotion and weeps and kisses them. And it's very similar here. So obviously we kind of see a little bit of that coming. And this this difference in expectation and reality. That holding on to the old things, Jacob expects Esau to still be mad at him. But he doesn't realize that Esau has changed too over this time. And so he's met with a graciousness that he doesn't expect. And to some extent, that's, these things are all kind of foreshadowing the prodigal son and his, leaving home to engage in wild living and returning home expecting his father to be angry with him, but finding that love conquers whatever resentment might have been there, or that he expected to encounter. If only you would return, then you would find that you'd be welcomed in loving arms, not with resentment, not with anger. And isn't that like our relationship with God? We can so easily be convinced that we've done something to separate ourselves from God. And really the only thing that separates us is the fact that we've convinced ourselves that we're separate. And if we would bear the risk of punishment, we would find that we'd be graciously received in loving arms. And the Bible shows us that again and again in a lot of these stories. So, anyway, I hope everybody has a wonderful Friday, and I hope everybody had a great week. I love you guys, and I hope that it continues to just get better into the weekend. So, all right, I will do my best to see you tomorrow. I know I've been kind of all over the place, but we're going to make it happen.